She says the humanitarian suffering in Gaza has reached unimaginable levels. Urgent action is needed to halt and reverse starvation. This is what she posted on X, which I guess is a step up from her this arrow, hate has no home here, to a Jewish man being beaten on the streets of Montreal. Canada is calling on the government of Israel to provide authorization for all international NGO aid supplements and to unblock essential humanitarian assistance. What is she talking about? Israel is delivering aid, but she's falling victim to these staged Hamas photos that show starving people, and it's like it came out that they were completely staged. There's an entire industry around this. It's called Pollywood, as in Palestine Hollywood, where they fake this stuff. And the local terrorist thugs are looting the shipments of aid that are coming in from Israel. And you know, she should really be asking herself, why are we even delivering aid to a place that used to be lush with greenhouses when Israel left Gaza to the care and control of Hamas?
Right. What happened to all of that infrastructure? Interesting that. Interesting that. But this also plays into their hand that Palestine must achieve statehood so that they may gain credibility with the international community so that aid may flow over the border without resistance. This is the argument that they're using for Palestinian statehood, is that there's a safety threat. There's a threat of starvation. There's a threat of famine or whatever. People being harmed.
Right.
And if she extricated herself from her confirmation bias in watching all of those contrived narratives fall out of the area, well, then maybe she would be better suited to make a good call on this.
Yeah. Then from Foreign Policy Canada, so still under the purview of Anita Anand, Canada condemns the killing of Al Jazeera journalists in Gaza. This is wild.
What?
We got to go to Cian Bexte's Twitter account or his
Yes,
X
we
account.
do. Yes, we do.
Journalists are civilians, not these ones. Targeting them is unacceptable. We call on full accountability and for the protection of media everywhere. Press freedom, not a target. Okay. It's real funny how Foreign Affairs Canada has more care and concern for Al Jazeera journalists who are also Hamas fighters
A journalist plant, sure.
than actual Canadian journalists that were this far from having to sue to get into the G7. And we would have had to sue, but we got a court date and they're like, oh, we're going to lose in court. We got to let them in. So I love how they believe in press freedom for Hamas fighters who put on a press vest, but they don't have any concern for Canadian journalists here in Canada excluded routinely from government events. And let's go to Cian Bexte's X
Oh,
account because
please.
he's been
Oh,
just an absolute delight on this, because uh the this is Heather McPherson. She is an NDP MP who says more journalists including beloved Anas al-Sharif murdered tonight in Gaza. This was a targeted attack on journalists stationed outside a hospital. These war crimes continue while the Liberal government continues to take action, sanctions, arms embargo, suspend trade now. This beloved terrorist Anas al-Sharif, real mask off moment for the hopeless morons in Canada's NDP. This guy was a Hamas operative.
sure.
And actually he had a sit-down interview with Rachel Gilmore, by the way, who is
What?
absolutely losing her marbles on this.
What?
Yeah.
He had a sit down, the guy who died had a sit down
Yep.
interview with Rachel Gilmore, and now
Yes.
Rachel Gilmore is upset about a terrorist who was just recently unmasked as a terrorist, who
Yes.
was playing journalist.
Yep.
That is
Yeah.
wild.
As Cian says, he's asking Rachel if she's ever accepted money or benefits from Al Jazeera or its state funder, Qatar.
Ooh, what'd she say?
She of course wrote no
Because
response.
she's for sale, guys. Like, she's for
Yep.
sale.
Yeah. So Al Sharif, a journalist from Al Jazeera, who Rachel Gilmore says it was very cool, was just blown up in Gaza. I'm reading from Keane's tweets for being a
Oh,
confirmed terrorist that advanced rocket attacks, terrorist training, and deeply integrated into the journo terroristic activities in Gaza.
journo terroristic.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
And this is so well, you see, ugh, this is where those operations, those
Hollywood.
Hollywood operations can get really, really complicated really, really fast.
Yeah,
Because on one hand, you have the MSM and the left wing media saying that this guy was martyred, basically, that he was
right,
martyred in the act of journalism, when in reality, he was an operative working for the bad guys pretending to be a journalist.
right.
Ooh, that's sticky. I wouldn't want to be the person to have had interviewed him in the last little while.
Well, and
Tie
that's why,
yourself to terrorism. I mean, that's basically what it is Rachel Gilmore is now tied to terrorism, international terrorism. Is
right,
she
and
not?
right, and she's the first one to call the Freedom Convoy terrorists, and it's like,
Right.
I've never actually been around someone or that celebrated the rape and murder of children, uh, like she has, and you know, here the problem is they're so tied to this now they can't get off the train. They're on the crazy train; it's going off the cliff because
Mhm.
you can't, like you've been so duped that
You can't delicately extricate
no,
yourself
no,
from this line of thinking and this line of exploration that you've been doing for the last several years. Like there's
yeah,
no way you can divorce yourself, right? You're married to it now. You're
yeah.
committed and you're going to dig in. And I think that's what we're seeing here. But God bless Key and Bexty for shining a great big light on it
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, it's what do they call it? Sunk costs. She's got a lot of sunk costs
Mhm.
invested here. I don't know
Yeah.
how she can extricate herself from this. And it's real cute how she was called before committee in the House of Commons as some sort of
Was she ever?
expert on extremism.
Was she ever? She was so.
I
She
I
was. And
guess
she
I guess
testified
she
at the
is.
UN. She
Yeah.
testified at the UN about this exact topic. This is who we're trusting as an expert. Another one bites the dust, Canada. Another
Yeah.
expert bites the dust.
Speaking